Every 3 minutes, somewhere in the world, a senior unexpectedly dies from a silent threat lurking in the simplest part of their daily routine. It's not sudden trauma, nor a dramatic accident, but something far more insidious, an invisible enemy that strikes without warning, hiding in plain sight beneath the comfort of breakfast plates and morning habits. This threat has quietly claimed millions of lives over the decades, and yet most seniors remain unaware. It is a danger that builds gradually, unseen progressions leading toward catastrophic failure of the body's most vital organs. The startling truth is that daily dietary choices, seemingly innocent and even beneficial at first, are gradually turning into deadly triggers for their sudden demise. It all begins in the most mundane way. Most seniors start their day with a bowl of sugary cereals or indulge in slices of white bread toast. These foods are commonly perceived as quick, easy, and comforting. But beneath this familiar routine lies a dangerous biochemical cascade. When white bread or sugary cereals are consumed, they cause blood sugar to spike rapidly. A typical serving of sugary cereal or a slice of white bread can bump blood sugar levels by 50 to 70 points within just 15 minutes. This swift increase prompts the pancreas to release a flood of insulin to manage the sugar surge. Over time, if such spikes happen daily, they force the arteries into a state of chronic inflammation that is rarely felt but unmistakably damaging. Within minutes of ingestion, the blood vessels respond to this sudden rise in blood glucose by activating inflammatory processes. White blood cells and inflammatory proteins flock to the blood vessel walls, attempting to repair the damage caused by high sugar levels. This ongoing inflammation gradually weakens the lining of arteries, making them more susceptible to injury from other harmful substances. As the damage persists day after day, these inflamed arteries become prime sites for cholesterol and fat to settle and create what are known as plaque deposits. These deposits, consisting of LDL cholesterol, cellular debris, and fatty acids, start to build up imperceptibly, layer upon layer. Each day, this process continues unnoticed, narrowing the passageways for blood flow. It's like small, invisible cracks forming in a dam that appears solid from the outside but is slowly weakening from within. These early-stage plaques are initially minor, but progressively grow larger and more fragile. They cause the arteries to stiffen and become less compliant, shrinking the diameter of vital blood vessels without any outward symptoms. Blood flow diminishes incrementally, but most seniors feel no discomfort, no warning signs. Statistically, hundreds of thousands of seniors are unknowingly silently suffering this process every single day. What starts as harmless breakfast habits becomes a slow erosion of their cardiovascular health, leading to dangerous instability in the arterial walls. Over weeks, months, and years, these plaques reach a perilous state, large enough and fragile enough that a minor trigger can cause them to rupture. As these unstable plaques rupture, they release their contents into the bloodstream, which rapidly triggers the formation of a blood clot to seal the injury. This clot can grow within seconds, becoming a tightly packed barrier that completely occludes the artery. The moment the clot fully seals off blood flow, the downstream tissues, be it the heart muscle or parts of the brain, are instantly starved of oxygen. This results in severe heart attacks or strokes that happen suddenly without warning signs and often lead to death within moments. The process of plaque rupture combined with rapid clot formation transforms a seemingly normal morning routine into a potentially deadly gamble. This chain of events reveals the true nature of the silent killers hidden in everyday foods and habits, emphasizing how crucial dietary choices are in the final outcome. Over the years, the once larger and more prominent plaques within the arteries begin to weaken and become increasingly unstable. These fragile deposits are no longer held securely by the lining of the blood vessel and can rupture with minimal provocation. As plaques grow larger, their delicate structure turns into a ticking time bomb, gradually narrowing the arteries by up to 50% or more even while the person feels no discomfort or warning signals. The internal lumen shrinks, blood flow decreases silently, and organs like the heart and brain are subjected to reduced oxygen supply without any noticeable symptoms until the catastrophe is imminent. Tiny, invisible cracks form within the plaques, akin to tiny fissures in a fragile glacier, which over months cause the artery to become increasingly congested and less compliant. The vessel walls lose their elasticity, becoming stiff and more prone to injury, setting the stage for a potentially fatal event that could happen suddenly without warning. As these unstable plaques reach the critical point of fragility, A minor trigger, such as a sudden spike in blood pressure or even a quick movement, can cause them to rupture. When the rupture occurs, it exposes the underlying core of the plaque to the bloodstream, unleashing a cascade of dangerous events. Inside the bloodstream, the exposed compounds act as signals for the blood's clotting system to activate. Platelets rush to the rupture site within seconds, releasing chemicals that amplify clot formation. Within approximately 15 to 30 seconds, a large, thick blood clot, known as a thrombus, begins to form at the rupture site, aiming to seal off the damage. This clot can quickly grow to reach the size of a golf ball or larger, blocking the entire artery in moments. The danger is compounded because this clot isn't an ordinary blood clot. It is a dense, sticky barrier that forms rapidly and can completely occlude blood flow. This quick congealing clot transforms an otherwise manageable situation into a life-threatening crisis. Within seconds, it fully traps the artery shut tight, cutting off oxygen and nutrient delivery to the tissues beyond the blockage. If the blockage occurs in the coronary arteries, it results in a heart attack that can cause permanent heart damage or death within minutes. If it affects cerebral arteries, a stroke may occur, paralyzing or killing the victim with astonishing speed. The victim may experience a sudden loss of speech, paralysis, or lose consciousness just moments after the clot forms. What makes this scenario frightening is how silent and rapid it is. It can happen so quickly that even the most attentive observer might not realize a warning has existed until it's too late. This lethal escalation highlights how tiny, seemingly insignificant plaque ruptures can swiftly escalate into catastrophic events that claim lives in moments, often before emergency help can arrive. Over the years, as plaques within the arteries become more fragile, their structural integrity deteriorates to the point where even the slightest provocation can lead to catastrophic rupture. These unstable deposits, once larger and more embedded, now resemble fragile glass bombs, with tiny fissures crisscrossing their surfaces. A minor fluctuation in blood pressure, such as an increase of just 10 millimeters of mercury within seconds, or even a sudden twist or rapid movement, becomes enough to trigger a rupture. When this occurs, the underlying core of the plaque is exposed directly to the bloodstream, exposing highly reactive substances that activate the blood's clotting mechanism instantly. Platelets, acting like emergency responders, rush toward the rupture site within approximately 15 seconds, releasing chemicals that amplify clot growth. Within 30 seconds to a minute, this process results in a thick, dense thrombus, sometimes reaching the size of a golf ball, that rapidly expands to fully seal the damaged artery. As this clot fully occludes the vessel, vital oxygen and nutrient delivery to tissues downstream cease immediately, creating an irreversible blockade. In cases where the clot blocks coronary arteries, this leads to a heart attack characterized by sudden chest pain, loss of consciousness, and rapid deterioration of heart function. If cerebral arteries are involved, the result is a stroke that causes sudden paralysis, speech loss, or unconsciousness. This silent yet swift process ensures death often occurs within a matter of seconds to a few minutes after the clot complete formation, leaving no chance for rescue or medical intervention. The tragic reality is that many victims succumb without any prior warning signs, their bodies quietly shutting down as the arterial blockage cuts off oxygen supply with overwhelming speed. The relentless repetition of these events reveals how daily dietary choices, especially those rich in processed sugars and refined grains, create the perfect environment for such deadly ruptures. The unfortunate truth is that these seemingly harmless everyday habits are the root cause of a silent nation of victims, claiming an average of one life every 47 seconds worldwide. These events are so rapid and silent that even the most vigilant family members often miss the initial warning signs, emphasizing the urgent need to understand how simple dietary modifications can serve as life-saving defenses against this hidden epidemic of arterial catastrophe.